Alright, I don't know how well this video is going to turn out because I don't have to hold my camera because the subject of this video is huge. This is a 1975 GMC heavy-duty fire truck. It's decaled as a Mount Pleasant Volunteer Fire Department. I believe it was Maryland. Yes, according to the license plates, Maryland. Again, this is a Highway 61 model. It's listed as a 1/16th scale. And I mean, it's flipping huge. Well, here, to give you an idea, my drink of choice sitting next to this. It's a regular 12-ounce can, so there's the height difference of it. And then sitting on the hood of the thing, you can get an idea of maybe how wide it actually is. So, anyway, huge truck. There's a 24 scale Camaro beside it. The tire that is even with the roof line. So, big truck. Again, 1/16th scale GMC Highway 61 model. Now, as I do this video, pieces may fall off, and there's a reason for that. It's because when the truck is shipped new, some of these pieces aren't attached, such as the mirror. Boop. So I will have those taken back off and put them in bags, so they won't either get lost in shipping or break on you, Brian. So I'll pull some of these pieces back off as we go. So if it looks like it's missing a piece here and there, that's because it's not really missing. I just haven't mounted it back on. Pull the antenna as well so I don't hit it. Hood on this opens. It's actually got hinges on it, similar to like Auto Art models. Cantilever type hinge. You can see that one in the rear side over here. The way it works. Pretty detailed engine for the day. Hosing and tubing, cables and everything laying across the motor. So pretty authentic and basic, like they were back in the day, back when you could work on an engine. Interior as well. Fairly basic, just bench seat. Not a lot of equipment in there. The radio. There's a siren control box or light control box at the under the dash. I don't know if I'm picking that up. A very detailed gauge panel. Again, I don't know how well LED flashlights and cameras don't work well together, but anyway, very detailed gauge panel. You can actually read the numbers on there instead of it just being like so scrambled, not scrambled, but scaled down so much that it's just a blur instead of actual numbers, but you can actually read the gauges. Even the nameplates and stuff on there, my camera's not going to focus on it, but even the nameplates and things you can read on them as well. The doors do open on these side panels. There's a different nozzle. I guess you call it a nozzle, anyway, that's what I'm going to call it. The rear panel door here has fire extinguisher in the back. There's another nozzle on the rear. These top doors open on the small hose, maybe for a brush fire or something, if you want to pull those open. And what's cool about those is they will actually come out. So you can actually pull the hose off of there. When you get them, they're kind of glued down just a little bit to hold it in place. But if you pull on it just a little bit, it'll actually come loose, and you can actually pull the hose off. So I want to leave it like that instead of trying to fix that back together. I don't know what you would call this. I'm going to call it like a trunk hose. I guess a heavier hose. I guess you would run maybe from the hydrant to the pump intake on the truck. Flip this on around here. On the rear spotlights and beacons. We're going to pull these off because they were on there extra. Rear doors here open. Again, sorry that this video is so long, but that's what happens when somebody spends almost $300 on a toy truck. I'm going to show the detail of the model itself even before we get to the lighting. So a couple axes in there. I don't know what that silver is up top. Oh, top, that's the pocket for the axe head to go in. Never mind. The reflection in the camera looks weird. So you have those there. Again, detailed valves and hoses on the back. Hose bed on the back as well. Looks pretty detailed. Again, more nozzles. on this side. Over here, pretty much the same setup. Fire extinguisher in the back. There we go. Fire extinguisher in the rear. And the front, I believe it's a small hose and some other valve, maybe, I can't remember now. In the front, and this is also where the battery is located. I'll set this together a little bit so the battery wouldn't just fall out all the time. There's where the 9-volt battery is located. Comes right out. Will be changed. Looks like a couple couplings and a piece of hose. Clipboard here on the back of the door. I don't know if it's actually called a Halbert tool, but anyway, tool laying up here on the side shelf of the truck. Put the battery back in there. Again, more detail on the side on the pump intake and suction, or the suction side of the panel. And then, of course, another hose reel here. Again, the hose reel does turn. I've got it wedged down in there now, but anyway, the hose reel does turn. Again, the hose will come off of these. So, again, pretty neat detail when it comes to that. Passenger side door opens as well. You can see more of the equipment inside. Again, areas where the mirrors mount, spotlight and whatnot. So, enough about that. Let's go over the lighting. You ask for a steady headlight, steady running lights for the fenders. I think those are actually only turn signals, but you wanted them illuminated steady, so I did that. Cab lights are illuminated. Also, emergency light, the light bar on the roof is illuminated. On the rear, you had steady tail lights, and then also the markers, running lights on the bottom. Switches are located here under the pump panel. This front one here is for all the emergency lighting, or all the lighting, period. I use slow flashing LEDs as you wanted on this, to more mimic the era of when this truck would have been around. So there's your, you can see your park running lights on the sides, steady headlights. These are the warm white LEDs, but more realistic that way. Cab lights, all illuminated there. Slow flashers in the light bar. Don't exactly look like rotators. Most of my customers don't want to spend the $100 each on the rotator simulators. So I use slow flashing LEDs, and you put enough of them in there, it kind of gives the maybe the appearance of rotating. But anyway, when customers are on a budget, I make them the best I can for what they're willing to pay for it. So that's what you asked for, Brian. There's the 2 rear beacon flashers that are rear facing. Those look pretty original. The ones that were on there were just like little red pieces of plastic sticking out. So I cut those plastic pieces off, used 3mm LEDs, shaped them, and wired them in to where they would closely replicate what was on there. Again, you can see your steady tail lights. The whole lens is illuminated. Again, cameras pick up just the spot of the LEDs. There's your 3 marker lights on the bottom that you wanted, running lights, and then of course your other brake light. I'm going to try to make this short as I can here. Too late, I know. Next to the emergency lighting button is the siren that you asked for. Pretty loud. You kind of hear that going there. I'll explain something about it in a minute. Hear the air horn. Okay, let's turn that off. The siren, what I did, since there was room in the hose bed, if any of you guys ever use those small speakers that come with siren kits and stuff, and my sound card, you can make, what I ended up doing was taking a tube that I had some wire wrapped around. Took the tube out, and actually like a toilet paper core worked great. Put the speaker in the toilet paper core, and it'll almost amplify the sound, you know, because I guess the way the speaker box, if you want to call it that, would be with that toilet paper tube around it, kind of funnels the sound out and gives it a little bit more, I don't know if resonance would be the word. Anyway, it just amplifies the sound. Doesn't really add more power to it, but it gives the effect of more sound. Because that little tube that it sits back in. So that really made it quite a bit louder, gives it a deeper tone. more realistic tone versus just coming out of like a little small tinny speaker. Kind of the difference in your nice, an AM/FM stereo in a car versus a pocket transistor radio because of the speaker size. So there you have it. Appreciate it. I'll get this thing boxed all back up. It is a beast. I guess I should have measured the length of it. Let's do that real quick in case anyone's interested. I do know it is large. And I can't, there we go. Like I said, I'm kind of curious myself. I was going to say 2 foot long, but it's obviously not 2 foot long. That's a foot just to the front of the rear wheels. And another, so it's almost 22 inches long. So like I said, really good size truck. Beastie truck. All die-cast metal in the front. The entire box is plastic, and all the framework and everything underneath is plastic, but still a very nice truck. Very expensive. If you can pick one of them up, this color usually runs well over $200 on eBay for the most part. If you can pick one of these up, the white ones or the other models for $100, you better grab it if you're interested in one, because that's about as cheap as you're going to see them. So, again, I'll sign off. Thank you again, Brian, for the order. Appreciate it, sir.